There are two theme parks with the Busch Gardens name, one located in Tampa, Florida, the other is in Williamsburg, Virginia. I had the great chance to experience both of these parks. My first time at the Tampa location was in October of 2023, and I've been there plenty of times since it's technically my home park. The one in Williamsburg took place in late June of 2025, so I've decided in this video to collect the 10 best roller coasters between both parks, and that has created the list of the top 10 best roller coasters at the Busch Gardens parks. So we have 5 in Tampa, and the other 5 are in Williamsburg. But before starting the list, let's start with 2 honorable mentions, and the first one will drum up some debate. The first honorable mention I have here is Kumba. I've ridden Kumba 4 times, which all took place in the outer seats, and let me tell you, it's not good in those seats. In all of the potholes, the rattle is very nasty. But let me say this, the layout for Kumba is really good and it's crazy intense, especially the 0G roll. That feels way too snappy. At least it takes a break with the double corkscrews, and they have good hang time, but with the ride not running that well, that's the reason why it's an honorable mention. Now let's go from Jungala over to Pantheon. And there was a ride there that was so underrated, and I was heartbroken to see it go, which is Scorpion. This was the old school looper here, and Scorpion was really fun. There was no denial that it felt old, but there was no rattle. The loop pulled some very strong forces along with the helix at the end. You really great out there. I was absolutely devastated when Busch Gardens announced that Scorpion was retiring. Hopefully the replacement will be a worthy successor. So let's start the list with a bit of a hot take. So let's stay at the Tampa Park for the next 3 spots and go from Pantheon over to Stanleyville for the monstrous Sheikra. To start this off, this is the most disappointing coaster on this list, and that's because after all of my rides, Sheikra just didn't deliver. It's pretty overhyped for me. I will say the first drop has some great whip if you're in the back, along with the second drop, and the head chopper exiting the element is a little scary, but the helix towards the end is completely pointless. It looks scary, but trust me, you're gonna be disappointed if you hype it up in your head. The drops are the standout moments and everything else is just a bonus. And by the way, this is all my opinion, so if you have a different perspective on Sheikra, I would love to hear about it down below. So let's go from Stanleyville towards the edge of Africa to ride Cheetah Hunt. Yeah, I know, a small intimate launch coaster over a huge dive coaster, and here is why. Cheetah Hunt keeps its pace throughout, there's not many dead spots, and it doesn't go to a stop randomly halfway throughout the ride. The only critique is the restraints. They are worse than Sheikra's. If Busch Gardens changes the restraints to the ones on Maverick where they are soft, this would jump up higher on the list. As for the ride, it's really fun. The launches have some surprising pull, the unique wind catcher tower delivers great views, and it's cool how you soar over the Serengeti. Just wish the restraints were padded. So next up at number 8, let's go from the edge of Africa all the way back to Stanleyville for Sheikra's neighbor, Tigris. This is the most underrated ride at Busch Gardens Tampa in my opinion. Sure, the restraints suck and it's the shortest thing ever, but what they packed into that 45-second ride experience is nothing short of impressive. They packed in 3 launches, a slow barrel roll, and a non-inverting loop. You'll also get some great airtime rising up into the barrel roll and diving down 150 feet. You get ejected and thrown in the back row during that part. I forgot to mention that the trains are really tight to fit in. You're gonna look very unattractive trying to get into these trains. They feel like they're not meant to fit human beings. But to sum it up overall, great ride but horrible trains. So at number 7, we are finally going to the Williamsburg Park, and they have a hidden gem of an attraction called for Bolton. This is a must-do when you're at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. It is such a fun family coaster, definitely one of my favorites. It actually barely made my top 25. The cool thing about this ride is that it's half outdoors and indoors. At the beginning, you launch into the dark forest, and while you're in there, spoilers ahead, there is a drop track in there, but I knew about that before riding. The restraints are very comfortable as well. It snugs up against your stomach. If you've ridden the aforementioned Scorpion before, it's like that but it's padded. I absolutely love this ride, but I am sad that I've only gotten one ride. It was in the front though, so it was very memorable. This coaster also has created an inside joke between me and some relatives. Hopefully I'll ride this multiple times next time I visit. So let's stay at the Williamsburg Park for the next 3 spots. Another ride that I'm bummed about by only having one ride on is Alpengeist. Located not too far from Bolton, this is the world's tallest beam and invert. It's only 5 feet away from 200 feet and is paired up with 6 inversions, a speed of 67 miles per hour, and so many snappy elements, especially the Cobra roll. Make sure to brace during that part. You could get some serious headbanging if you're not careful. It whips you so hard with no mercy. The only critique is that the mid-course just slams to a near stop, and there is no need, unless if it's for operation reasons, and that makes the second half a little slow. At least the 0G roll and corkscrew have some good flow. I really wish I rode this again, but we didn't have time. It is mad intense though, so I'll ride it more next time I go. So I hope you're ready to enjoy the power and speed of the mythical Griffin, which marks the halfway point. The cool thing about Griffin is that it was technically a milestone roller coaster for me, coaster credit number 75, and it was a great ride to represent the milestone. The first drop has some good air time, the 2 implements have good hang time, it rides smoothly, and it has a surprise pop of air time into the brakes. This was surprising for me, and that's why I take it over Sheikra. The mid-course is always a buzzkill though. That's my only critique. Besides that, I love Griffin and the rest of the rides on this list. I'm pretty happy I rode this more than once, which occurred in the front and also in the back, and the back is better for the drop. It just whips you down. Overall, great roller coaster. So let's walk from the French section of the park over to Italy, specifically Festa Italia for Apollo's Chariot. This is the first ever B&M Hypercoaster, and it shows if you've ridden more than one, and I've done 2 other B&M Hypers, being Mako at SeaWorld Orlando and Diamondback at Kings Island. Apollo's Chariot is still a fantastic ride. You get some good flow to airtime over the Camelback Hills, but it's not as good as some other B&M Hypers. Apollo's Chariot is unique though because of the placement. It's set in the woods and over a river. It's really cool how you glide over it on the first drop and the return run. The ending is also fun how it twists to the side, and I dive into a ravine. You also get a surprise pop of airtime before the ravine dive. It rides very smoothly too. I got 3 rides on it, which was once in the front and twice in the back. And no surprise, the back is where it's at. Definitely the best B&M at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So let's stick with B&M for the next placement. So let's go to the Tampa Park for the best B&M invert, Montu. Yeah, it is a bit weird placing a B&M invert over a B&M Hyper, but there was a reason why. Montu is crazy intense. If you thought Alpengeist was an intense ride, just wait. Montu is even crazier, especially during the Batwing. Your body goes numb and you hardcore gray out during that whole moment. The other inversions are snappy too, like the vertical loops, zero G roll, and the corkscrew. That's an underrated moment on this ride. The placement is a little weird since you ride next door to the preferred parking lot. You also have a view of a lot of sketchy buildings at the top of the lift hill. That doesn't ruin the ride though. It's still fantastic. Now for the last 2 spots. These are both in my top 10, and I got many rides on these 2 coasters. Let's start off by harnessing the speed and strength of 5 Roman gods as you conquer Pantheon. Pantheon is an outstanding creation. There is no denying that it's the best roller coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. It has a fantastic layout with 2 inversions, multiple launches, a top hat, and a spike. You start off with a weird zero-G wander element, and it's so good. The swing launch has some good pull as well, especially going backwards over this airtime hill. It is freaking nuts. Go out and check my first time reaction on Pantheon. You can tell I was not expecting that hill to be absolutely insane. The spike is great too. You get amazing floater, and the rest of the layout is fantastic. The outer bank is very wonky, and the salt has amazing hang time. They could have themed it up though. The queue is actually pathetic, but it's just the ride experience that matters, and that is what makes this place so high in my top 25. Now we have one more coaster left, and if you've been to both of these parks, you're not going to be surprised when I say Iron Guazi is the best coaster out of the Busch Gardens parks. There's a reason why this is one of the best roller coasters in the world. Iron Guazi is relentless and crazy. Where do I even begin? The first drop is so good, the death roll is one of the best inversions out there, and it's my favorite inversion of all time for right now. The wave turn is nuts, and Iron Guazi has a lot of ejected airtime pops, and since it's an RMC, it's butter smooth. There is absolutely no rattle on this ride, and I see why this can be too much for some people. If you're getting up there in age, or you're pretty young, or if you have severe medical conditions, this is probably not a ride for you. Besides that, after my first ride, I had no words, even though I was a bit underwhelmed. I think it was just the length, or it was too crazy for my first ride, but after getting multiple laps, that's a big reason why it's my #1 favorite roller coaster of all time. So I want to hear from you guys. How would you rank the roller coasters at the Busch Gardens parks, both in Tampa, Florida and Williamsburg, Virginia? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. We're getting closer and closer to our goal of 700 subscribers, and it's really appreciated if you take the time to support us since we're not doing well in numbers for right now. And thanks for listening till the very end. That really means a lot. So you can expect a new video coming out in the next 5 days. So keep that adrenaline pumping, and thanks for watching.